Introducing Daniella and Doxer. Welcome to Dimensions Creating Characters. So, Daniella, we'll start with her. She is an apprentice of Booma, who was introduced in the previous episode. So, Booma, also known as Captain Booma, or the Bomber Captain, she was a bounty hunter who essentially utilized different kinds of bombs, which sort of became her her namesake. She would use gravity bombs, miniature black hole bombs, acid bombs, whatever the situation called for. So of course, with that sort of fear factor behind her, she created a gathering and a sort of not necessarily a cult, but just a group of bounty hunters that she happens to lead. Daniella being the first mate or second in command of that bounty hunter group. So yep. That's her right here. She's got sort of a bomber symbol right here with the two eyes. And, yep, let me see. Now, something else about Bomber, who's the character introduced in the last episode, she was an alchemist who used alchemy to create bombs. Of course, alchemy was a version of magic that non-magic users could actually access by just, studying and memorizing all the different things that are needed and all that good stuff. But Daniella was actually born with magic, so she was able to do what Bomber does, or what Booma did, but just a bit easier, especially with the access to different magical gems and all that good stuff. So that's sort of how she became an apprentice, by utilizing her abilities to create sort of magic blasts that mimic the bombs that Booma would use. So yeah, here she is here. And then I will talk a bit about the robot here, Doxer. Now, quite a name, yes. But yes, Doxer is an evil AI entity and sort of the rival to a character who's introduced a while back. I don't know why I'm blanking on his name, but that's irrelevant. But yeah, so this is that robot. So essentially, his whole thing is that's what his name was. I think it was Drayden was the name of the robot character. Very similar in design. So if you want to go back, I think it was King something. And wow, this is really bad. You think I would memorize my own characters, but sometimes it's a lot on the channel. So hopefully you can understand that. But yeah, so this is Doxer. We'll talk about him. He's an evil AI. I mentioned that already. And his primary thing is, of course, finding and assassinating his targets. He's also a bounty hunter, and he's basically trained in doing just that. Hence the name Doxer. Of course, that has a very negative connotation online, which is part of why I chose it, because he's a very negative and evil sort of character. But yeah, essentially he's great with not only finding people, but also not only being a finder, but yeah, also going there, assassinating them, or even capturing them if need be, sort of holding them prisoner until a proper until someone who can actually fight them arrives. Since of course, while Doxer does have a bit of a weapon here, not really, one pistol is not going to be enough to actually apprehend a full-on magic user or a wizard who can just say fireball and basically kill this little flying tin can here. But yeah, I say that lovingly, of course. A lot of these characters here were some of my first characters I ever made, which is why I decided to introduce them in the final stretch of season 2 of creating characters. If I can, something's gone wrong here. Okay, this hand's fitting a bit better, but I didn't know that was an issue there. About the hand's not fitting, but it's not falling out, so we should be all right. Let's see here. We'll just finish up putting the finishing touches on this robot here. But yep, that is just about it for these two characters. So if y'all have any suggestions for season 3, because of course that's coming up after season 2 ends, naturally. But yeah, if y'all have any suggestions for more characters or types of characters you'd like to see, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. And of course, last time there was something suggested, it was the Ninjago video, which did pretty well. So if y'all like to see even more of that type of content, definitely leave a comment below and let me know. That's what this piece is for. This is actually Daniella's weapon. I don't know why I forgot that too. I don't know. This entire all of 2025 and even the beginning of this year has been an interesting, I'd say, startup to the new year. So we'll say that much, but it's too much to do, too little time. So of course I'm blanking on some things that I should normally know, but hopefully y'all bear with me as we got through the episode and got through these two characters. And with that, I'm gonna show them to y'all up close. And here we have Daniella and Doxer. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, tune in next time to see more characters, and have a great rest of your day.